I mean, well, let's don't wishy-washy about it. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Man, I think they got billions of reasons to have an interest in who's there.
Is the NFL scripted? And I'm going to yell it a little louder because I don't think you heard me. Is the NFL scripted or is it not?
Absolutely. There you go.
Okay. Now that we got that out of the way, so you're a flat earther, NFL scripted.
No,
We're going all the way that way.
I'm not getting into all the other conspiracies, but sometimes when you start labeling yourself sports entertainment and there's billions of dollars on the line, I don't believe there's not some people, blowing some wind in the sail to make the boat move, if that makes sense.
Welcome to Big B Daily. No frauds allowed.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome again to the Big B Daily Show. This is your man, Brien Hanley, Big B. We are live on TikTok. What is happening, TikTok? And we are live on YouTube. What is going on, YouTube? Man, we got some things to cover today. And I promise we are going to be definitely doing Super Bowl picks. We'll be talking Super Bowl, basically the whole second half of the show, man. The whole second half. So, well, let's get into it. Again, as always on TikTok, keep tapping the screen, man. We need at least 5,000 likes and 30 new follows. Anybody that's watching on YouTube, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Same thing goes for TikTok. Click that YouTube button, that link in my bio, and come on over. We had like 5 people yesterday come over from YouTube or from TikTok that came over for YouTube. They love it. They love it. My man Bill Karma's on right now. They love it. It's a better experience. A lot more going on. So we appreciate everybody, man. So let's get into this. Man, the first thing up, Defensive Player of the Year. Let's just get into it. Y'all are going to call me a homer, and I understand. I don't care. TJ Watt was robbed. Now, look, Myles Garrett is very good. Let's just start there. Myles Garrett is very good. Outstanding. He's better than very good. Outstanding. But at some point, I know Michael Parsons, don't look at stats, look at the film. Well, I looked at the film. I mean, you act like it's TJ Watt's fault that teams didn't game plan and double team him. How the hell is that his fault? That's not his fault. So, double teams don't mean that you're better. That doesn't mean that. And anybody that's saying that, you don't watch enough football. Hey, he got double teamed, so he's better. That doesn't mean that. That's not what that means. So, Max Crosby, great player, didn't deserve Defensive Player of the Year. At some point, you have to say, sacks, production has to matter. I mean, production has to matter. I mean, if production doesn't matter, then what are we talking about? And TJ Watt, here's my man, Bill Carmen, it's Bill Kernan. TJ Watt makes a difference every time he's in between the lines. Yeah. It's people like Myles Garrett, there's times where he disappeared, and you can say he got double teamed. Okay. But guys get double teamed. Guys get chipped. Things happen. So, but stats have to matter. And stats aren't the only thing that matter. But if you're telling me that win rate or sack win rate matters more than stats, then you're kidding yourselves. An MVP or a Defensive Player of the Year, they have to change the game. Well, if you're not changing the game, then what difference does it make? I mean, you know, that's the whole thing. And somebody's saying the Browns' defensive stats were better. Do you think that's just because of Myles Garrett, or did they have a good defense? I mean, that's one of the dumber things. Come on, people. You're not having a good defense just because you have one good player. That doesn't make your entire defense great. The Browns had a good defense overall. That's why they were good. That's why they were good. Hell, I mean, there were, like I mentioned, there were games that Myles Garrett had a tackle, 2 tackles, and the Browns defense played great. So, that, I mean, I don't know. Again, it's subjective. It's being subjective, but I think we're starting to dwell into the nerd analytics on how we give out some of these awards. I think nerd analytics are starting to take over on how we get. And I mean, you know, talking about look at film, that's what Micah Parsons says, look at film. Well, I did look at film. One guy wrecks a game more than another guy. I mean, that has to matter at some point. It just does. It just does. So, almost entirely because of Myles. So, Myles Garrett was the reason that the Browns' defense was good. So, if Myles Garrett wasn't there, their defense wouldn't be any good. Come on, man. Stop. But you know what we do know for a fact? When TJ Watt isn't there, the Steelers' defense isn't any good. That we know that. We know, we've seen it. We've seen it. Now, the Steelers' defense is still functional, but when TJ Watt doesn't play, the Steelers don't win. I mean, that's just a fact. But it is what it is. It is what it is. And Micah Parsons, I just, you know, he can say what he wants. The guy is outstanding. He's phenomenal. But to just say that Myles Garrett was clearly better is a mischaracterization. I mean, he clearly is biased. I mean, if you think it's all about only double teams, and because somebody got double team more, I mean, is that TJ Watt's fault that somebody had a bad game plan? No. So, yeah, Garrett won. And I'm not even saying Garrett's not deserving. TJ Watt's he deserved it more. He deserved it more. If you just line up what they did next to each other again, if everything's going to be about nerd stats, okay. I don't prefer nerd stats. I prefer the production. For my defensive player of the year and for the guy that I think is the best player, I prefer production over nerd stats. That's just me. Call me old-fashioned, call me whatever you want, but I want production over nerd analytics that don't equal production. That's it. That's it. So that's just my assessment of that award. Again, call me a homer, call me old-fashioned, you can call me whatever you want, but if we're going to start talking about nerd stats being more important than production, then football is going to be in a bad way. It's going to be in a bad way. That's all I'm going to say, man. That's all I'm going to say. But, man, Bill Kernan, again, says Parsons needs to go back to the film of Reggie White if he wants to whine about double teams. Exactly. I mean, guys get double teamed. Guys get held. That's football. That's football. You know, they're not going to just let the best player just wreck a game. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Let's move on. Because we could talk about that forever. We could talk about, you know, Myles Garrett and TJ Watt and not Parsons. I'm not putting Parsons in that class. And too many times we saw people just say, you know what, we're going to run the football and we're going to run it right at Micah Parsons. And he ain't going to do anything about it. We saw that way too many times. We also saw too many times Micah Parsons just disappear in a game. For instance, the playoff game against the Packers. He did nothing. That ain't a defensive player of the year. Nothing. So, but it is what it is. Like I said, I could be biased. I don't think I am. It's just, I call it like I see it. Production's got to matter more than nerd stats. Production 1,000% has to matter more than nerd stats. But again, let's not take away from Myles Garrett how great Myles Garrett is. Let's not be silly. Because that's another thing that we always do is, well, my guy's better and your guy, blah, 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 blah. Well, you don't have to tear down somebody else to prop your guy up. You don't have to do that. I always think that's weak. I get caught doing that sometimes. I think that's childish. I think it's weak. I think it's unnecessary. If your guy is good, you don't have to bash on another guy to prop your guy up or the guy that you think is better up. You don't have to do that. You don't. So, but it is what it is. It is what it is, people. Let's move on. Let's move on. Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson wins his second MVP. Turns out to be the youngest person in NFL history to win 2 MVPs. I mean, here's the thing. I don't mind giving Lamar Jackson the MVP since clearly this is now a quarterback award. Clearly we've decided, or the voters have decided, I shouldn't say we, the voters have decided that MVP is going to be a quarterback award. No matter what we say, no matter what we do, it's just going to be a quarterback award. Okay, what do you want? I mean, it is what it is. And if Lamar Jackson, he was on the best team, he's the best player on the best team. So they gave him the award. Now, did he have the best stats? No, not at all. I think he was like 10th in passing yards, or no, he was 10th in touchdowns and 15th in passing yards. So he didn't have the best stats. You know, it wasn't like in 2019 when he led the league in touchdown passes and ran for 1,500 yards. It wasn't like that. And I just thought if they're ever going to give it to somebody besides a quarterback, this could be the year. I thought if Tyreek got to 2,000 yards, he deserved to be the MVP. Well, he didn't get there. I thought CMC, okay, he's got an opportunity. But when Lamar Jackson went to San Francisco and just annihilated the 49ers, I'm like, well, that's the end of that. You know, you can't give the MVP to Christian McCaffrey when there's a game with another guy that's up for the MVP and they destroy you and he plays outstanding. You know, the problem is like voters forgot everything else that happened throughout the season and just decided this is the game that's going to decide it. Well, if that's the way you want to go, okay, I get it. But I don't know. I just thought there was an opportunity to maybe give it to somebody else. That's all. That's what I thought. Here's a hot take here by my man Pat Cockrell. Mahomes should be MVP. He took the receiving corps to the Super Bowl. It's supposed to be most valuable player, not best statistical player. Well, Pat, here's the first thing is that the MVP voting is voted on before the Super Bowl, before the playoffs start. So that's number one. Down the stretch, the Chiefs were 3-4. So while he did take the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, all that voting was over with, and they didn't have a great year. So, no. I get what you're saying. I get it. But Mahomes didn't deserve the MVP this year. Not this year. So, that's right, Zach. Postseason doesn't matter. Postseason doesn't matter. So, yeah, I just thought this was a year that they could have given the MVP to somebody that wasn't a running back. Or wasn't a quarterback, excuse me. I thought, you know what? We got an opportunity here. No quarterbacks are really just dominating. Nobody threw for like 5,200 yards and 50 touchdowns. We got an opportunity here. And, well, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. So it kind of is what it is. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the voters have just decided that the MVP is going to be a quarterback award. That's just what it's going to be. And if that's what they decide, then that's fine. That's fine. But I think they should rename it and just say that and let everybody know that only quarterbacks can win. Only quarterbacks can win now. Because while I'm a Lamar fan, even though I'm a diehard Steelers fan, I root for Lamar. I want Lamar to do well, except against the Steelers. I just think that there could have been an opportunity for Christian McCaffrey to win the MVP this year. I believe that. I definitely think if Tyreek would have gotten to 2,000 yards, that there was an opportunity there. So, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll find out what happens down the road. Do they make any changes to it? But Lamar is good. I mean, again, let's not discount what Lamar did this year. It was the most yards that he's ever thrown for in a season. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, Brian, that's not that big of a deal. It was like 3,600 yards. But it was still the most yards that he's ever thrown for. And he was the best player on the best team. So, he was the best player on the best team. That's got to mean something. That's definitely got to mean something. And him going out and winning, again, I don't know. Here's my take, and this could be a hot take, and y'all let me know. I think voters are going to sour on Lamar no matter what he does until it gets to a Super Bowl. I think Lamar could come out next year and have a great year. He ain't going to win the MVP until he gets to a Super Bowl. That's what I think. I think voters are just going to say, even though the postseason doesn't matter, they're going to say, no, until he gets to a Super Bowl, I don't want to hear it. I think that's going to happen. I absolutely think that's going to happen. So, and as far as comeback player of the year, Joe Flacco won. I thought you had to play a certain number of games to win it. I mean, I'm fine with Flacco winning. Don't get me wrong. I'm fine with him winning. I thought it could have been Baker Mayfield, but I'm fine with him winning. The person that I would not have been fine with winning was Damar Hamlin. If Damar Hamlin would have won, I'd have been upset. And it's not because I think he's bad. It's just he barely played. He barely played this year. I feel like you got to play a certain number of snaps. Well, I think he played like the equivalent of all season long, like one game, if you add up the snaps that he played on the season. Hell, I think there was like 8 games where he wasn't even active. Now, here's another thing. The man came back from being dead. So you come back from being dead, that's something. Jiminy Christmas. That's the thing. He was dead on the football field. That's got to count for something. So I applaud him for that. Jiminy Christmas. But still, you got to play. You got to make an impact on the team, and he didn't make an impact this year. He just didn't. Yeah, it was a better story, but he just didn't make an impact on the field. So the Texans destroyed the Browns and Flacco. What difference does that make? That was in the playoffs. So Flacco didn't play well during the season to win the award? Is that what you're trying to say? Come on, man. Be better. Be better. So, and Flacco is what he is. Let's not kid ourselves and think that Flacco's some top 5, top 10 quarterback. He's not. But he came off the couch at like week 10 and came in and played really, really good football. Got to give him credit. Got to give him credit for all of that. Got to give him credit. As a reminder, people, again, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Time, Big B Daily Show. We are live on TikTok, live on YouTube. We appreciate everybody, man. Thank you guys for coming in today. Let's see. People thought Tua wasn't going to play again. Yeah, they did. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. But we'll get into this. Somebody's saying, oh, hold on. Myles Garrett is so overhyped the way they give him. Nah, Myles Garrett's not overhyped. Let's not do that. Let's not get crazy and say that Myles Garrett is overhyped. No, he's not. No, he's not. He is outstanding. Max Crosby, outstanding. Parsons, outstanding. TJ Watt, outstanding. Let's not go crazy and say that he's overhyped. So, and I get it. He didn't do much the last 7 weeks. He didn't. So, but he's not overhyped. Let's not do that. So, otherwise, I could say Myles Garrett is a fraud, but he's not a fraud. He's not a fraud. So, Goon Squad, y'all know better. Y'all know better than that. Watt was robbed. I'm not going to I'm not going to argue about that. Watt was robbed. But let's not say that Myles Garrett is overhyped. He's not. He's not. It just happens to be TJ Watt. I believe it just happens to be better. And that's okay. That's okay. So, but let's move on, people. So it's Super Bowl time. It is Super Bowl time. And I haven't given a pick. I haven't really given an opinion. I haven't done any of that all week. But today is the day. We are going to get into this Super Bowl, and we're going to talk about it, people. Let's get after this thing. So first off, let me just kind of give you some background. My wife is born and raised in Kansas City, diehard Kansas City fan. So she is a Chief. I am not. You know me. I'm a diehard Steelers fan. So who should I root for? Hey, I've been married 20 years. I'm no dummy. I'm going to root for the Chiefs. You know, happy wife, happy life. All that cliche, all that good stuff. However, the San Francisco 49ers are favored in this game. The line has gone down. It was 2.5. Now it's 2. The San Francisco 49ers have more ways to win this football game, people. They have more ways to win this football game. They can run it. They can throw it. They can shut the Chiefs down. There's a lot of different ways. They got more weapons than what the Chiefs have. They have more weapons. Look at that. Bang, bang, Niner gang. Oh, my God. Enough. You know, they have all these things on what they can do. They can it's CMC, run it, catching. Brock Purdy playing great football. You know, Brock Purdy doing his thing the last quarter, last half of the last game against the Lions. Just put the team on his back. You got Ayuk outside. You got George Kittle. You got Debo. You got that crazy defense. San Francisco has got a lot. A ton. So the 49ers are favored. -2. They're the team to beat. However, the best player on the football field will be Patrick Mahomes, and he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes has time and time again said that he can win. He's proven that he can win. Last year, he won without great receivers. He got back to the Super Bowl this year without great receivers. They struggled during the regular season, but it seems like they have hit their stride in the postseason. Guys are more confident. They're running the football. Pacheco runs the football like a madman. I've never seen anybody so mad at just running the ball. He's just mad. Everybody, I know the cliche is that he pounds his feet into the ground. He's just a mad runner. You know, he had a great 40 time at the combine. But if you look at this combine 40 and how he runs the football, they don't even look the same. He completely trained to run the 40 at the combine, like you should do. And as he runs the ball as a running back, I mean, it's totally everything is moving. I mean, this guy's not a sprinter, but he runs extremely hard. Give it to Pacheco. Rashee Rice on the outside is doing his thing, figuring it out. He admitted, he said early in the season, I was overwhelmed with being in the NFL. I can see how that can happen. Just being out there. Well, I mean, you were watching guys play in the NFL for years. All of a sudden, you're one of them. I can see how that can be overwhelming. So, I'm taking the Chiefs. I am taking the Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Chiefs win this football game. Look at this. The Chiefs, if you're on YouTube, you can check it out. The Chiefs, ESPN. First of all, I didn't know they had that many, NFL analysts. Jiminy Christmas. But on ESPN, they've got analysts 49-15. So if you're on TikTok, like I said, click on that YouTube link in the bio and come on over to YouTube. You can see it. 49 analysts on ESPN have chosen the Chiefs. 15 picked the 49ers. So, and the thing about it is, and nobody's talking about, look, the people have been able to run the ball on the 49ers defense the last two games. The Packers did it. The Lions did it. I think the Chiefs are going to be able to do it. They've been able to run the ball. You do that, and then you throw in Patrick Mahomes, and the back end of the secondary in San Francisco isn't great. It's not. It can be had. It can be had. Look, my Niner gang guy, he says everybody makes mistakes. He's all in on the Niner gang. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm sorry, brother. I am sorry. The Chiefs are going to win the football game. 27-24, Chiefs. Brock Purdy throws a late pick. Yeah, Brock Purdy throws a late pick, ends the game. It ends the game. Now, somebody over here on TikTok absolutely brings up a great point. Mahomes is definitely better. He's going to be the best player on the field. Better coaching. Yeah, Andy Reid. That matters. That 100% matters. So, let's see what my man, Bill Kernan, he's got a good point. When I came up in my sport, one of my mentors taught talent gets you so far, but knowing how to win is the difference at the elite level, and that is Mahomes. Damn right, Bill. Damn right. Talent will get you so far, but you got to understand how to win. You got to go make things happen. Mahomes he does that. He's just better. When the chips are down, he's just proven to be better. And he hasn't been able to lean on receivers. He's had to go make the plays. So he's had to go to make the plays when other guys couldn't do it. My man Niner Gang's talking about they got a league leading 22 picks. Come on, bro. If you think it's going to be like that, you'll be mistaken. But hey, 49ers are more than welcome to prove me wrong because I want to see a good football game. But I think Patrick Mahomes carves them up. I think they can run the football. I think the Chiefs win 27-24. Again, a late Brock Purdy pick. He tries to go over the middle, gets picked off, gets tipped, gets picked off, and boom, there you have it. So, there you have it. My man Jake from YouTube, he says Andy Reid has been there, done that, much like a lot of the Kansas City players. This is all new to most of the 49ers players, and that matters. Yeah. I mean, there's some 49er players that played in the Super Bowl a few years ago. But for the most part, it's going to be new, especially to that quarterback. It's going to be new. So we'll see what happens. But I got the Chiefs in this one, people. I got the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to end up taking this. I love it. Love the Super Bowl, man. It's sad because that means football is going to be over. And it's a build up to one day. Let's move on to Q&A. But let me ask you all this question. Do y'all think the build up to the Super Bowl is too much? Do y'all think the hoopla and everything is just too much? I used to think that it wasn't. I kind of think it is now. I can't watch the coverage all day long. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, it will be on all day long. And I'm like, come on, man. I just can't watch the buildup. I can get me a couple hours in. I can get me a couple hours. But, oh, my goodness. I can't do the 100 hours of buildup. I think it's too much. Yeah, David, it's too much. It's too much. So, my man over on TikTok, Scott, said the commercials are going to be better, the better thing than the football game. No, it won't. But don't get me wrong. I love Super Bowl commercials. I love Super Bowl commercials. Y'all remember the frogs, the Bud Light frogs? I think that might be my favorite commercial. That might be my favorite commercial. So, my man Wakan over on YouTube says DeMeco Ryan should have won Coach of the Year. 1,000%. Jiminy Christmas. Look, and I get why they gave it to Stefanski. They made the playoffs. The Browns were 11-5 or 11-6. They had a great year. They made the playoffs, and they were dealing with, 4 different quarterbacks. I 100% understand that. But if you think about it, at the beginning of the year, everybody thought the Browns were going to be good. I mean, nobody thought the Browns were going to stink. There were plenty of people that thought the Browns might even win the AFC North. So I don't know where all this is coming from, but yeah, there were plenty of people that thought that the Browns were going to be really, really good. Now, they didn't know that Deshaun Watson was going to stink, but there were plenty of people that said the Browns were going to be good. I was one of them. Nobody on earth thought that Houston was going to be good. Nobody. First-time head coach, first-year quarterback. Nobody. And not to mention, they had a bad roster, and they do. And nobody thought that Houston was going to be good. So, nobody thought that. And yet, they not only did they win, now again, the playoffs don't count. So we're not going to say that Houston beat Cleveland, but they won their division and made the playoffs. I just think that DeMeco Ryan should have been the Coach of the Year. I don't even think it should have been close, to be honest with you. And again, that's not taking away anything that Stefanski did. But come on, man. Come on. So, it's just crazy. I thought that, TJ Watt got robbed. Let's not kid ourselves. TJ Watt got robbed. But DeMeco Ryans, I don't even know what you call that. I don't know what you call that. So, but the Texans, like I said, nobody on earth thought the Texans were going to be any good. Nobody thought that. Jacksonville falling apart helped Houston. Yeah, it did. But that doesn't mean anything. Just Jacksonville not being very good. I mean, they beat the Texans. But again, nobody thought the Texans were going to be good. Nobody thought that, man. I don't care who you were. You didn't think that they were going to win the division. You didn't think that they were going to be able to do much. And it was kind of the same thing with like Jacksonville the previous year. Nobody thought Jacksonville was going to be any good. And they ended up winning the division. So, it kind of is what it is. I get it. But I definitely think Ryan should have made he should have been Coach of the Year. He should have been Coach of the Year. So, The man Pat says, anyone else see Shanahan absolutely plastered at the press conference the other day? Yeah, he was. He was drunk, but that's okay. What are you going to do? That's okay. But he was definitely drunk. No question about it. No question about it. He was a drunk man at the press conference. But good for him. Good for him. So, let's see here. I'm looking for stuff. Something to talk about here. Houston still laughing at Cleveland for taking Watson off of their hands. Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Houston is definitely laughing. They're going to be laughing for a while. Houston is going to be laughing for a while for taking Watson off their hand because, I mean, Watson has just lost it. Maybe he gets it back next year. I don't know. But, yeah, Houston is laughing all the way to the bank. All the way to the bank. The only thing that I want Houston is for them to keep focus. Hopefully, because they absolutely played over expectations last year. That happened. So hopefully, they don't continue to do the same thing that Jacksonville did this past year. You know, Jacksonville played over their expectations the year before. This year, everybody thought they were going to be good, and they weren't. So hopefully the expectations in for the Texans next year isn't terrible and that they can play up to it. So I hope it is. Keep tapping the screen over on TikTok. We need to get to 5,000 likes. We need to try to get some more people in here. We don't have enough. So hopefully we can do that. And at least 30 new follows. So if you're not in here, please give us a follow or just jump on over to YouTube, man. Either one is fine. So what's up with all these unranked teams beating top teams in college basketball? Hey, man, it's college basketball. I love it. You know, that's what makes college basketball so fun, is that anybody can win. Anybody. It's not like college football. Where in college football, you know it's going to be the same 6 to 8 teams all the time that are going to win. And it takes the parity out of it. In college basketball, it is not that way. Anybody can win. I love it. I absolutely love it, my man, Chuck. That's what makes college basketball so much fun. And especially this time of year. We're about the middle of February. College basketball is really going to start get going. Really going to start to get going. So, yeah, I'd like March Madness. Right behind the Super Bowl, or if we're talking postseason stuff, NFL postseason is number one for me. College basketball is second. It is second. College basketball is second. NBA is third. Hell, I'll watch the Major League Baseball, the playoffs for Major League Baseball. Now, I can't do the regular season, but we're just talking postseason. NFL is number one. College basketball is number two. NBA is number three. Major League Baseball is number four. And then the bowl games are number 5 for college football. And it's not that I don't love college football, but the postseason is not as exciting anymore. First of all, they have all these bowl games. And I'm not saying any bowl game is meaningless, because people that say that bowl games are meaningless, number one, you never played in one. And number two, you've never been a part of anybody who did play in one. They weren't your son, your brother, a cousin, somebody like that. So to say bowl games are meaningless is ridiculous. But I will say that there are too many bowl games. And they encourage mediocrity. That's what bowl games do. The bowl games are, there's so many, 6 and 6. Look, I'm an old fart. I played college football 25 years ago. But at the same time, it was actually 26 years ago. But at the same time, look, making a bowl game should have to mean something. Going 6 and 6, That didn't get you in a bowl game. You went 7-5 then. That didn't get you in a bowl game. You know, you had to go 8-3 at the time because we only played 11 games. 7-4 maybe got you in. But 6-6, yeah, you didn't make a bowl game back then. So that's my thing. Bowl games are crazy. The postseasons are just ridiculous. And yes, Bill, your 1,000% college football rankings are too subjective. Absolutely. And it's also based on who they want to be good. The perfect example of that was this year. Tennessee was ranked all year. How was Tennessee ranked all year? What did they do to deserve to be ranked? But, I mean, they kept getting beat, kept getting their head beaten in. And we're ranking Tennessee? For what? Well, I know why, because they wanted to have more SEC teams ranked. So when other teams beat them, they could say, well, they beat a ranked team. They beat a ranked team. I mean, there was no reason that Tennessee wasn't a top 30 team this year, and everybody knows it. But yet they were in the top 25 every week. They were ranked all year long, and it was ridiculous. So, who do you think should have won Defensive Player of the Year? TJ Watt, without question. TJ Watt was robbed. Myles Garrett is outstanding. He just didn't have a better year than TJ Watt. He just didn't. Period, point blank. You want to give it to Myles Garrett because he never won one? Okay. So, Micah's advice is to watch film. That Myles deserved it. Micah would be wrong. Micah should worry about watching film of himself and learn how to play the run. Then he can tell other people to go watch film. Don't worry about what other people are doing, what other people should do. Don't do that. Watch film of yourself and learn how to play the run, and then you can tell other people what to do. You know, and that's all I'm saying. Come on, Micah Parsons, you're better than that. Telling people to go watch film. You go watch film. You get paid to watch film. We don't. We don't get paid to watch film. You do. So you go watch film. You go get better against the run. And if you were, maybe they would be calling your name for Defensive Player of the Year. But instead, you want to badmouth fans, the people that pay your salary. Get the hell out of here with that. Just get tired of it. That's all. I just get tired of it. Alabama didn't belong in the college football playoff, says my man Bill. No, they probably didn't. I know why they were there, and I don't even disagree why they were there. College football is more business than substance. So if it's about business, and clearly it is, that's what they do. They go for the money. Alabama, much bigger brand than Florida State. You knew Texas was going to be a bigger brand. They put them in. So now there, my man, all you guys on the YouTube side are awesome. I've been trying to say that to everybody. Come on over to YouTube. Click on the YouTube link in my bio, TikTok. Come and subscribe to Big B Sports Talk, man. Come on over to the YouTube side. Everybody will tell you that it's better. I promise you. Everybody will. Come on over. All you got to do is jump on. So, yeah, that's my thing. Like I said, did I play with Semino? I absolutely played with Mark Semino. I surely did. But yeah, I get tired of people constantly bashing fans for their opinion. Look, fans don't get paid to play football. So, but we can all have our opinion. And yeah, I'll even say that a lot of opinions from us fans are not educated opinions. Of course they're not. We're fans. Fan equals fanatic. So our opinions on a lot of stuff are not going to be educated. Now, there's going to be some that are more educated than others. I count myself as one of those that is going to have an educated opinion, because not only did I play football at the highest level in college, not pros, but college, but my father was a football coach. I grew up around the game. So I have a good assessment of what football is. And just because you don't play professional doesn't mean that you can't know football. That's another thing that kills me with these athletes talking about, you don't know football, you didn't play. Well, just because I didn't play doesn't mean I can't know it. I mean, if I'm not rich, that doesn't mean I don't know about money and how money works. I mean, that just means I'm not rich. I mean, come on now. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What's going on? Lily and Daddy. But yeah, that's my whole thing. People, these athletes got to stop bashing fans because their opinion doesn't match up with theirs. And then lean on the, oh, well, you didn't play, so you don't know. That doesn't mean that. Now, it can mean that, but it doesn't have to mean that. And just to lean into that, like their opinion or their assessment is so much better than everybody's because they didn't play at the highest level. Don't mistake ability for knowledge. And I know the comeback to this, well, don't mistake experience. Well, experience and knowledge kind of go, they're about equal. Because while you're experienced, you got to also not know what the hell you're doing. And there's plenty of guys that played in the NFL 1 or 2 years because they had the ability, but they couldn't figure it out, and they're out. A lot of guys like that. So that's all I'm saying. That drive, that's one of my bugaboos when people bash fans because their opinion doesn't match up with theirs because they didn't play. Hey, don't bash all fans. Don't do that. Don't do that and discount what they know because they didn't have the same ability that you had and fortitude to be able to play football. Because if that's the case, then you shouldn't talk about anything other than football. Have no opinion on anything because you're not a professional. You're a professional football player, basketball player, whatever. And I don't believe that. I think people should be able to talk about whatever the hell they want. So it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not here to talk politics. I'm just here to give you all a little bit of the truth. Just a little bit of the truth. So I'm a Ravens fan, is what somebody says over here on TikTok. Not sure how I feel about Lamar winning second MVP. It doesn't sit well. Well, we talked about that earlier, my man, and I think you're right, is that Lamar winning it this year feels weird because it wasn't a dominating year for quarterbacks. And they basically gave it to the best player on the best team. Well, Lamar didn't come close to winning anything statistically this year. You know, when he won it before, I mean, he led the league in touchdown passes. He ran for, what was it, almost 1,500? I think it was 1,500 yards. Maybe it was 12. I can't remember. But whatever. Let's just say it was 12. 1,200 yards rushing and lead the league in touchdown passes. You're doing something. So, and it was almost unanimous. That's right. That's a great point. He got 49 of the 50 votes. So clearly it's just a quarterback award. That's all that this is at this point. So, like I said, I'm glad he won it. Even as a diehard Steeler fan, I root for Lamar. I want to see Lamar succeed, except when he plays against the Steelers. But it was just one of those years where somebody else could have won. I know somebody in here is talking about Dak Prescott deserves it more than Lamar. No, he doesn't. Stop. No, he does not. Because we saw Dak Prescott in too many games just play absolutely like garbage. That can't be the MVP. That isn't the MVP. I mean, the beginning of the season matters. Okay, the MVP goes all year long. How did he play against the Cardinals? How did he play against the 49ers? He was garbage. He was horrible. So, and statistics can't be the only thing that matter. We talked about that with Defensive Player of the Year. Yes, they have to matter, but you also got to dig in to the stats a little bit. So, how many bad teams did Dak rack all these stats up against? A lot. A lot. But when he played good teams, he didn't play so well. That's where the difference comes in. So, it doesn't matter. I mean, Myles Garrett, again, it's not that Myles Garrett isn't deserving of Defensive Player of the Year. It's not that he isn't. It's just TJ Watt deserved it more. That's the whole thing. It's not that he isn't deserving. Watt just deserved it more. Pretty simple. So, Ricky, we already got to the prediction, my man. But we can go back to it. We got the Kansas City Chiefs winning 27-24. Kansas City Chiefs winning 27-24. I think Brock Purdy throws a late pick. Purdy trying to go down the middle of the field to get his team into field goal position. Ball gets tipped, intercepted, Chiefs win. Chiefs win. So, that's my personal opinion on how the game's going to go. We'll see what happens. We will see what happens. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a good football game. But the one thing I know for a fact, if CMC gets 150 total yards, San Francisco is going to win. If CMC goes for 150 combined rushing and receiving yards, San Francisco will win the game. So if the Chiefs can hold them down, then they got a better chance. I think Mahomes is the best player on the field. I think he does his thing. I think the Chiefs got to run the football. But if they let CMC get loose, they're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in trouble. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great football game. I like it. I like it. Here's the thing. What if Brock Purdy goes off and throws for 4 touchdowns and wins? Does everybody have to stop talking bad about Brock Purdy? I mean, he already shut me up. The last 2 weeks when I said that he wasn't clutch, and then the last 2 weeks he's been clutch, I can't say anything else about Purdy. I can't. That was what I was saying about him all along. Show me what you can do under real game pressure. Well, he did it. So now I can't say that anymore. So what if Purdy goes out there, throws for 285 and 4 touchdowns? Whoo! I think that they will that has to shut everybody up, doesn't it? People are going to vault Purdy up into the top 10 of quarterbacks in the league. Whoo! I love it. We'll be interested to see, man. I'm just hoping for a good game. I appreciate everybody. We're going to shut this one down for the day. I appreciate everybody that came and joined the Big B Daily Show, man. We appreciate you guys. Again, Monday through Friday, we are live 9 a.m. Central Time. We're live on TikTok. We're definitely live on YouTube. Anybody that's following me on TikTok, click in my bio, the YouTube link, and come subscribe to Big B Sports Talk, man. It is better on YouTube. More interaction. You get more access to more stuff, podcasts, lives, short stories. There's just a lot of stuff over there that you will have access to on that page. So we appreciate everybody that came over, everybody that's watched all week. We will be back Monday. Everybody be safe. Don't be crazy at Super Bowl party. Don't get crazy, even if the game's early enough. So you can get drunk, sober up, wake up, and come join us on Monday morning on Big B Daily Show. Again, 9 a.m. Central Time. We love everybody. Y'all have a good weekend. And aloha.